What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 9 of Map5 podcast. I am Chef Billy. The wonderful screen over there. That's Big Hungry Phil. He is on assignment, vacation, and just taking a general rest from everything. So, Phil, hope you're doing well out there. Jeff and Ethan, as always, the OG3 here tonight, bringing you all the news and action from T2 and everything else going on in our little space of the interwebs. I tell you what, kind of a slow week. Kind of a slow week. We all are coming down off the high of Last Ride Invitational. But, you know, some other big things have been going on this week. I know that we have all been casting here for some Collegiate Championships going on and have been pretty busy in the broadcasting booth. So, you know, a little bit spare today as far as content going on, but we have a lot to talk about nonetheless. We'll just take a look at what we're going to. I know that we've got a big topic towards the end of certain shady shysterings going on in the T2 scene that Ethan is absolutely chomping at the bit.
We're gonna get spicy.
To be able to talk to it. It's gonna get spicy.
We're gonna
I'm
get
here
spicy.
for it. Oh, I hope Chase comes in the chat to see this one.
I'll tame it down. You got the harder version behind the scenes. I'll tame it down for the broadcast, all right?
Before we get into news, I think we should change Phil's name to Big Head Phil for the episode. Just because his
How about Big Blue Eyes?
because his head is very large on screen right now.
How about Big Blue Eyes? Let's be nice.
All right.
No. It's gonna be a big head Phil, but there's gonna be 2 D's at the end of head.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Sorry, can I just? I've just looked at my Discord to kind of get a glimpse of the picture. Got a DM from a certain other caster in the scene saying, "I got whiskey tonight. You want to play some games?"
Can I play too?
Yeah, that sounds like a date.
So Rolf just messaged me. He's like, "I got whiskey tonight. You want a game?"
You want to know something? I've finally been cleared to be able to have alcohol. Guess what I bought today?
What did you buy today?
Adult beverages.
Whiskey.
Oh, I was gonna go with Zima.
There you go.
That's the face that we should have used for the thumbnail. Like that was the face right there.
Oh my lord! But I mean, other than that, I mean, how are you two doing? I mean, we never really do this in our podcast.
No, we have no Phil here to keep us on track, so we're just gonna go off the rails today.
I just want to know how your guys' weeks have been because I think that needs to be a little bit part of this. I think we need to kind of check in, even though we check in with each other like multiple times a day. We need to do it officially on podcast.
It's not official unless it's stated here on Map5. Yeah, I mean,
you go first, Mr. Jeff. What's your week been like?
Fine.
Yes, let's go. Let's go.
That's better than shit.
How the hell is Northern Ireland? I'm just skipping all over you, Jeff. Nope, you sit in the corner. Press monkey buttons and keep us looking pretty.
Going on into an interesting spot. We've got an election next week. Super excited to vote out the DUP. Hopefully we get no seats in Lagan Valley for that stupid party. I've been told not to talk about politics, but I'm going to talk about politics. Anyways, moving on. My week's been less stressful. Last week was interesting. The last round invitational was super stressful to try and get all the content done, make sure the teams are all ready to go. It was very stressful, but it was an absolutely awesome event. The community loved it. We got some good moments. We got a great narrative. All the teams got a last chance to prove themselves, and Overwatch won it. It was a truly magical tournament.
Yeah. We'll touch on that here in a bit.
We'll touch on it, but I got to throw it out there for you and Chase and Bahar.
Killed
and everybody else behind the scenes absolutely fucking killed it.
Killed it.
There's no other way to put it. And Monkey Bubble too, all the help that they gave us to, or they gave help to that as well. But Jeff, you're going to San Antonio this weekend, right? You're going on a bus.
I am.
I'm so fucking jealous.
I'll be on the fan bus headed to Battle for Texas. So yeah, that'll be a good time. We are taking next Friday off for that very reason.
Yep.
So we're going to give ourselves a little bit of a vacation for Overwatch League opening weekend because we're all going to be watching the games and give ourselves some time to soak that in. It's opening weekend. I think it should just be a national holiday. So we will take next week off for that. But all right. We've done Phil proud now as we've gone sufficiently off the rails. I suppose let's get into some news. What do you think, guys? Should we get into some news?
Absolutely. We're going to go ahead and head right into our news as I bring up my screen here because I'm absolutely, totally following along with this right now. We've got a new tank in town for the Philadelphia Fusion. Belosrea is coming in off of Korean contenders, formerly of Runway. And I tell you what, taking a look at the clips of this gamer, this is going to be a fantastic pickup for them. However, I want to see how they fit into the 5-man version of the game. Even though looking at some of these primals and some of these shatters, I don't think they're going to have any problem fitting into the Philadelphia Fusion lineup. So, man, this is a goated pickup. I'm literally quoting what Phil said, but I also think this is a goated pickup for them. I think a standalone tank that can really operate solo is definitely what the Fusion needed, and they're gonna. I think they're gonna just be upgraded at the utmost going into this next season.
I'm excited because look, it's another relationship with an Overwatch League team and a sort of academy team with T1. It's nice. It's nice to see. It's nice to see those sort of relationships continue. It's also going to be interesting to see in contenders. You know, we're going to get a little bit of a battle between like OW2 Blast, Gen G will probably be back in the contenders fray this year, and we'll also have T1, who are technically Philadelphia Fusion's academy team at the current moment. We'll have some academy team battles in Korea this year.
Yeah, and that's. I mean, I think Kellen is probably the stronger of the two, but Belosrea had a really good year, and
Kellen's on NYXL.
What's that?
Kellen's on NYXL.
Yeah, I know. I was just talking about Korean main tanks that got picked up from Korean contenders.
I thought you were talking about, who's going to start in Fusion.
No. I'm sorry. I was just referring to T2 tanks that have been pulled up. Yeah, I
think Kellen's cracked.
Kellen is absolutely cracked, but Belosrea is still a solid pickup, a very competent main tank. So I mean, who does that leave? What's Fusion's tank lineup looking like right now?
It's Fury and Belosrea.
Is it just him and Fury? Okay, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, that'll fill a lot of the gaps. Yeah, exactly. That'll fill the gaps, and certainly a strong pickup. I mean, it's just more of our T2 rookies, moving up through the scene. So always love to see that.
That's going to be a fantastic lineup against whoever starts for them. I think it'll be map dependent. How they 100%. Use those two.
Yeah.
So, keeping with the thread of tanks coming into the league, we've got Vulcan coming in to an all-Korean roster of NYXL. There's been a lot of head scratching over this one. People don't seem to understand why Vulcan was picked up, but you know what? I mean, in the off-tank department, you really can't go much better than this. So,
I mean, everybody else has been picked up already, right?
Everybody, you're just filling out roster spots right now and making sure that you've got, for any kind of meta that may come up. I think that's what Vulcan's going to be. I think Vulcan's going to be a niche pick, very, very selectively used. We'll see what the Excelsior actually end up doing with him. But I mean, it's still another Western off tank being picked up into the league. So I think that's a win here, continentally for us, regionally for us. But we'll see how Vulcan fits into the NYXL roster.
It'll be interesting to see if Vulcan plays. Are they coming in English or are they coming in Korean? Because Yaki will probably comment in English before, and maybe Myeongbong as well. So that'll be interesting. So they might have the capabilities to kind of speak English at least somewhat in game. And Vulcan's a good player. We know Vulcan's a good player. One of the better Western off tanks that we have. And I think. Well, go ahead.
I was just gonna say he never really jumped off the page at me. I mean, like solid. But I mean, am I missing something there, or am I just?
I think he's all right. I think he's a good player. He's gonna fill a gap. He's never gonna be a player that's gonna go and make plays. That's not ever what he's done. Because remember, he was paired with Rhino for such a long time.
Yeah, right? Exactly. They basically followed each other around in T2.
Yep.
I mean, it was Odyssey to Altiora to Solaris. Like they followed each other around the scene a bit, and I mean, hey, Vulcan's gonna get to play with Kellen now, which I mean, Lovis Moreno, a big upcoming talent that we might see in the league in 3 or 4 years whenever he finally turns 18. But man, Vulcan getting to play with Kellen, like that's at least will be a wonderful learning experience. Yeah, seriously.
There might be the developmental value of it too.
Fair.
Something that I'm looking on the backside of it. Is that there might be the developmental value of Vulcan. I mean, maybe also salary cap considerations as well. I don't know if that's a thing in the Overwatch League, but
there's soft
I know
salary
there's
caps
minimums.
from what I understand.
Right, so I know that there's
As
a
in,
minimum.
so you can't go ridiculous as well. But like, I think that there's probably a rule that you can't pay like every player 500k a year. Like, there's probably
Right.
something there.
Yeah.
Like, that isn't stated because for obvious reasons it should
So
be
maybe
obvious.
he's a value pick. Maybe he's a value
Yeah.
pick if they're hoping to develop him. And I mean, that would be fantastic in that respect because, I mean, getting to play with somebody of Kellen's caliber and getting a chance to learn in the same room and get the same coaching and see how they dissect the game, how they dissect even the geometry of a map, that's going to be so invaluable to Vulcan that I think that his stonks go up tremendously just because of that.
I want to say it that there's going to be another NI pickup that we're going to talk about later on, but historically, I was saying that historically you could have said that NI was probably the weakest region of the 4 contenders regions, not counting Australia. Sorry. Look, maybe if we got a little bit more coverage or support to Australia, they could get closer. But I think NI's now firmly at least in third place and challenging China. And that's a big turnaround from NI in particular. They're getting closer to China, and they've 100% overtaken Europe.
Yeah, I think that's pretty undeniable just with the amount of pickups this past year, in this off season.
Yep.
Moving forward, Ethan, you predicted this one. This was a Map5 exclusive. We called this shit. Ethan had the crystal ball on this.
Well, we said we were going to talk about another North American player getting picked up. Landon. Oh, if there was any player in North America that should have been in the Overwatch, like Landon, you can see his development on flex support in the past year. Like he only decided to play flex support, I think, in like late 2020. He was going to go play flex support instead of main support. Because remember, Landon was one of the best Brigitzas in North America and the West in general. When Brigitza was used in Vulcan for the first time and was absolutely brilliant at it.
Mm-hmm.
And then moving into flex support, already the best flex support in the West outside of Overwatch League, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Well, no, he's in Overwatch League. He's kind of got Ultraviolet to contest with, you know what I mean? A little bit of a more difficult test, but he's great. He's a leader. He's got a great personality, and you don't even need to know Landon or even talk to him. You can see it in game. The way he plays the game, you can see that he's a leader and he's driving things forward. And the countless interviews, the countless statements we've seen from other North American players on Landon, he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. Congrats on getting into the league. Congrats.
Absolutely well deserved. Huge congrats. And I think this guy has the personality to really be a face for the team and kind of have that social presence, have that public reach.
And also the easy name, the Landon Spitfire, right? You got so much with that. You've got so much potential with that.
It's in our lower third. We did it first. I'm just saying.
We did.
Yeah, before they did the announcement, it must have stolen it. They must watch the podcast. They're like, oh,
that's of course.
Ocean says we should pick up Landon. Let's go pick up Landon. Oh, that's a nice little lower fare.
So what you're saying is Nuki was watching?
Nuki was taking notes from you, Ethan. That's what I was getting as well.
No. I was going to say, he's stealing, and then she stole your lower fare and turned it into an announcement as well.
Yep. I mean, to be fair, it was a pretty easy jump. It didn't take a rocket scientist to come up with that pun, but we still did it first, damn it. All right? I'm standing by that.
Yes.
Moving forward, so that's all the pickups we had this week. So congrats to all of our T2 players moving up into Overwatch League. Love to see it. Just speaks volumes for Path to Pro. But moving on, let's talk about some Path to Pro action we had going on this past week. We had the NECC Championships, which is a collegiate league that spans across all SRs. The top 10 teams that compete in NECC are part of the Legends division, and that includes Bay State, UTD, and Northwood. Well, we had Northwood eliminated in semifinals to everybody's surprise, and it was a Bay State UTD finals that went all the way, went to 7. It was a 4-3 victory for Bay State. And then we see the post here talking about an instant classic. I'd have to agree. I would have to agree. This is a heck of a matchup. I love this UTD squad. This is a team that has built up an incredible team with practically nothing, with very little resources and funding. When we talked about the only player they really scouted was Petal. Everybody else was just students at the school, and they pulled together out of passion and wanting to play together, and turned it into a top 10, push it on top 5 collegiate squad.
Yeah,
I love Bay State. I think that they have such a good energy too, and their social media presence is actually pretty good as well. So I think that they're just going to be moving upwards. I think the top 5 is definitely attainable in this next season for them. They're going to be giving Redbirds and everybody else, Maryville, going to be giving them a run for their money here very shortly, especially if they pull one big name in there. I think one big contender's name, tier 2 prospect into their school. I think that takes them to the next level. But I mean, even as it stands right now, I think that they're just absolutely running on just beautiful synergy and beautiful teamwork, and their coaching staff is absolutely phenomenal as well.
I mean, they have a great squad. Bay St have a little bit more funding and stuff involved than University of Texas at Dallas, but nevertheless, have really shot up this year. Let's see.
Yeah, they've been great.
Yeah, they've been real good. Let me pull up that roster real quick. As a matter of fact,
we're going to talk about those two teams again in a second, right? We'll kind of wait on that. I just want to say that Collegiate is probably the reason NA's developed so much. We just talked about a little bit ago, the NA, shot forward ahead of Europe by a bit. I wouldn't say it's at China's level quite yet. It's close, though. I would say that there's a good number of American players who could get maximum value in the Chinese region, 100%.
Sure.
But in terms of quantity of players who are comfortable doing that, I think China have a little bit more, and that's why you can see more Chinese players in the Overwatch League. Although I think it might be close, and I think NA might be back in a second. I'll have to go and check that in a second. But look, collegiates in the world are good. A lot more competition in North America. And I wanted to go back to Northwood. They've lost Landon. We didn't get to talk about that then. Northwood don't have Landon anymore. Who's going to lead that roster?
Yeah. I mean, they show that London Spitfire announcement, they show Landon in the Northwood jersey, which is apropos because it fits with London colors as well. So it's easy to overlook, but that is Landon in his collegiate jersey and was absolutely a cornerstone of what has been a spectacular collegiate squad.
And you can't just replace Landon.
No.
He's pretty good. But you can't just replace Landon. It's not how it works.
I'm very curious who they get to fill that role.
I'm curious when Luke Mino goes up because Maryville's going to have the exact same problem in losing a Luke Mino.
And there's not many flex supports in North America. There is not. I mean, it's a tight call to see who you pick up because, there's not many options.
I will say Luke Mino is now kind of undeniably the best flex support in NA. There's nobody left in T2 that's
not
as
yet.
good.
We haven't seen anybody come up yet, but I mean,
there's definitely some good prospects.
The ladder is not completely dry yet.
Oh no!
And also, let's just say there could be some flex support changes and who's actually really good in Overwatch 2. We don't know yet, but you'd imagine it'd be Luke Mino. You imagine he's very good.
I mean, with Ultraviolet now Landon going up, Luke Mino definitely has to be that top star, top tier echelon of our flex support. So we'll see what happens. But let's move on here. As we're now going to take a look at UT Dallas, the aforementioned team taking second in the NECC, is now headed to Boston for the Boston Uprising Collegiate Cup Finals. And nice to see them. We've seen a couple of funny pictures on a bus with Petal. Petal seems to be the butt of all their jokes. Petal and the Humega Lols taking the trip up north. And they will be competing this weekend. I love Louis. Louis has been very active on Twitter with a lot of these pictures and videos. And I love this team. I didn't get a chance to talk to Louis when he was on the episode, but I tell you what, it was one of my favorite episodes. Such an engaging young man, and I cannot wait to see how they do this weekend.
Yeah, that'll be UTD versus Bay State Part 2, as they've been hanging out a bit. And I love this thread. Like the UTD, and Louis specifically, have done a really good job of kind of just documenting this and putting a very friendly and entertaining public face to their journey to Boston.
So also, have you seen their roster? Have we done their roster reveal? Have you seen the video and put it up? You linked it.
We have done it.
Yeah,
before.
We have done it before.
We've had it.
Yeah.
No, they have a new one for this event. I'm pretty sure.
I think it's the same squad. Louis, Jukebox, Petal, Kashir, Nuntype, and Soba.
Yeah.
I thought the reveal was a little bit different, was it not?
And then you see Bonnie in that. He's been coaching them for a little while now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
No, great squad.
I can see what you're showing on screen. I can't see what you're showing on screen.
Yeah, I understand. It's some great pictures though. Definitely. I'd love to see it. I would like to see the Overwatch leagues, teams do more of this kind of thing.
Bahar in chat. Big Phil is out on vacation right now. He's taking an early week off, and he'll be back with us in a couple of weeks because we're taking next Friday off due to the start of the Overwatch League. But he'll be back with us in a couple of weeks. So yeah, he's just taking a little break.
Yeah, the way people are like joking about messaging like their employers saying it, or like they're like whoever like trying to get an extension on like assignments because the Overwatch League starting. We've technically done that. We just went to each other. Yeah, okay, next week Overwatch League starting. Take a break. Yeah, that's kind of what we've done. We just decided not to do work.
That video.
This video is so good with pedal freaking died on the car ride, according to Louis. Good stuff. Good stuff. It's fun.
Lobster on a roll. Forget about it.
Which leads us very nicely into our next point, which is basically we have the Collegiate Cup. We have the Boston Collegiate Cup taking place. Finals are tomorrow. So this is why University of Texas Dallas is traveling up to Boston, or has traveled up to Boston, hanging out with Bay State up there. So yeah, be sure to keep your eyes on this. Should be fun. More collegiate action. You're going to have the now Owlcasters of Lemon and Leg Day will be covering the championships. So love to see it. And props to Boston. Just a huge shout out to Boston for putting on these events. We talked about a little bit with some of the shoulder content that we were doing for last ride, but the importance of the Overwatch League teams putting on these events that really highlight T2 and Path to Pro in general, and how impeccable that is, and how just it's so good to get the general public, your general fans, let's say general Boston Uprising fans, come to watch these collegiate teams play, not really knowing what collegiate's all about. And so getting for these Path to Pro players to get to show what they're made of, to viewers that wouldn't otherwise, get to see that, and just kind of widening the spectrum a little bit. And when a tier 1 team like Boston Uprising, or in the past, Toronto, Florida have both done similar things, when they do it, it puts an importance on it, and it kind of tells the world, hey, this is something you should be paying attention to. So a great event, and props to Boston for putting it on.
But it's also beneficial for them, right? So say that people watch this finals, they see Petal pop off a bust, and later on down the road pick up Petal. Then they all know, all their fans know,
yeah,
look, this guy's good. You know what I mean? But anyways, the cool thing about this game is it's a rematch of that NECC final in 7 maps.
Yes.
A rematch. So we'll get to see that.
There we go. I'll put start time there in our lower third for you for that Collegiate Cup tomorrow at noon Eastern.
I'm casting during that. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, me too. That's another story. Well, we'll go back and watch the VODs. We'll go back and watch the VODs. We'll give you updates for not next week, because we're taking next week off, but 2 weeks from today, we'll have updates on the Collegiate Cup. We'll give you the results. We'll let you know who came out on top in this rematch, and who else impressed us over that weekend. But
that could be a dangerous episode 2 weeks from now. Hopefully, there's not like a mountain of news that we get.
Oh, of course there's going to be a mountain of news. It's going to be first week after Overwatch League starts. Of course there's a mountain of news.
You know exactly what they're going to do. They're somehow going to announce the first contenders dates, and everyone's going to be like, what the fuck? And we're going to talk about that.
Yep.
We're just going to be stumped for news. That's what's going to happen.
Let's move on.
Yes.
Who's got...
that would be you.
Nope, that's you.
Oh, did we skip that one? Okay. Well, that's me. Then here we go. Looking at the finals here of the very well put on Last Ride Invitational. Your champions are Solaris, and it was a pretty darn good send-off. The entire event was just fantastic. The community engagement was over the top. I didn't hear a single negative thing come out from anywhere on Twitter. For any of my DMs that I got a ton of DMs over this. Just a lot of good vibes coming out for the last send-off, from us at least. One of the bigger send-offs for Overwatch 1. I've had a lot of people correct me a lot, saying, well, it's not the end of all the Overwatch 1 tournaments. Well, no, but this was the big one. With a lot of the main tier 2 teams going out. Yes, this was the big send-off for it. Yeah, there will be some satellite tournaments coming on, and everybody will be throwing theirs up until we get the actual full game of Overwatch 2. But For all intents and purposes, this was really the send-off that Overwatch 1 deserved, and that Path to Pro and the Tier 2 scene itself deserved. Last Ride Invitational really did step up to the plate and knocked it out of the park. Monkey Bubbles on their own side as well. I mean, great production once again. We had a lot of help there with the TOing as well. So, I mean, it was so good. I mean, the communication was, lines were open, and I'm talking more about the back line of this now. The communication between the content and the tournament directors and everybody else was so good. Talking to the talent was, I mean, top notch. I mean, we always knew what was going to be happening. They let us have breaks as we needed them. I mean, it was really geared to make everybody really comfortable, and I cannot thank everybody at Monkey Bubble and you guys as well for how well it was put on. Ocean, I cannot say enough about how much you put into this and how much I am proud of you.
Would like to take that. Can I take the mic for a second? Am I allowed to do that?
I guess so.
I
I'm
suppose.
gonna take the mic
Don't
for
be
a
super
second.
long-winded.
Oh, well, it's gonna fucking happen. Sorry, mate. Unlucky. Look, this event was in response to a lot of Tier 2 and Tier 3 players being disappointed at the not getting a good chance to prove themselves during another tournament that was recently-ish hosted. And they wanted a last chance to prove themselves in Overwatch 1. We gave them that. It was kind of the goal. The whole goal was to have the player experience. I was nervous about us saying that last week. I was like, oh God, if we said it's the player experience and we fuck up, we're in trouble. You know what I mean? But everyone loved it. Everyone really enjoyed it. The days were short. The players really liked it. I think it's the best we could have done for a one weekend format. I will say that, one thing I will talk about hopefully later on if I get a chance to is it's not profitable, but that wasn't the point of the tournament. And the point of the tournament was to get the teams the last chance, give the community that last send off for Overwatch 1 as we go into a transitional phase of Overwatch, and it was absolutely excellent. The teams gave it their all. We had some really, 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 really good matches. We saw some old names, some familiar fit. It was just lovely to see. I cried a couple of times watching some of the beautiful interviews that you guys filmed. It was a pain in the ass to actually get all that shoulder content done, and Bahar did an awesome job editing it. The TOs were brilliant. Raven, Kay, and Arrow were fantastic the entire weekend. Answered any questions that people had. The whole tournament direction was great and well received. And it was, honestly, right, it was really relieving for me because I've been quite critical of some of these tournaments and tournament organizers and said, all you need is a solid direction. And I came in here, I was like, if I fuck this up, I look like a fucking dick. I look like an idiot, right?
True.
Nah, absolutely no negative feedback we've got so far. Maybe one slight thing that could be improved, and that was that we could have improved the production workflow a little bit behind the scenes. But other than that, it was very, very solid. And look, with a good direction, you can do a lot. But good, just okay. What's the point of this tournament? Progression. Okay, let's go to a tournament that focuses on that. Okay, that's not hard. Let's go to a tournament that gives people a last chance to, set up Overwatch 1 and go into the sunset. Done. Player experience done. It wasn't that hard. It really wasn't. It was really enjoyable. It was really stressful. But, it felt kind of good. It felt really rewarding to give the players that opportunity. And I'm just saying, you hire Ocean for something, you get good work. I'm just saying.
A little shameless self-promotion there, but
you're
not wrong. You're not wrong.
I'm just saying, right? Well,
you're not wrong.
When I had resources to do Incendia, we beat Gen G and we beat Team C and we got into Korean contenders with the least money by far. I think our budget was probably at least a sixth of any of the other teams. You last round invitational, my first ever event, no negative feedback. Everyone fucking loves it. That's what I'm fucking saying.
And we're fucking proud of you.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm kind of cool.
And there's a few things. With the beta coming out, I know T2 teams are already scrimming on the Overwatch 2 beta.
Well, they're doing like some scrims.
There's some scrims going. Yeah, but that's not my point. My point isn't that so much, but just to illustrate that players aren't going to want to go back. Like there's not going to be they're not going to want to go back and put together a giant Overwatch 1 tournament again. So I really do feel like this was the last hurrah. I mean, you had Overwatch League players participating, down to our, upstart T3 teams that are really looking to prove themselves, like GForce and Bear Claw, Death Computer, and these teams we've seen competing through the off season and through OD back in 2021. It was phenomenal. And I was proud to be a part of it. It was one of my favorite gigs I've ever gotten to cast, and I was super proud to be a part of it. And let's delve into a little bit of what happened. Like we've done enough, shameless self promotion. Let's talk about these teams. It's
Oh.
well, okay. So I'm pulling up footage of the finals right now, which was a rematch between Solaris and Wisp.
With one of the finals teams. Someone talk about Wisp. I thought Wisp were good. They looked really, really clean on day one. They were the best team. They were really good on day one. Look, that's all we have to say. Wisp looked really, really clean. I think Tensa was coaching 2 teams that day as well.
Yes.
So well played. Well played. He's really cemented himself as a top head coach in North America. He's an intelligent guy. I think everyone knew that. But yeah, Wisp again proving that their Mayhem Classic run wasn't really a fluke. They look good.
No, and as a matter of fact, the Mayhem Classic was these 2 teams in the final. And Wisp was able to take that one, though it was a very close series. That was a 5-map series, I believe. And this time Solaris come in and just had a chip on their shoulder. They come in and just stomp. Now, granted, they had Rack Attack and Luke Mino playing for them this time around. They had Fried Wiener coming in the off-tank role.
I mean, you say this. Solaris were in the losers bracket. They lost to Redbirds.
They did. Redbirds did send him down. And Solaris fought back, too. Like, not taking anything.
Yeah, no, Solaris were good. I'm just saying, it wasn't a complete roll of the entire tournament.
No, not of the entire tournament. No, absolutely not. It was Wisp who went through the winner's bracket. And Wisp who sent Redbirds down into the loser's bracket. Wisp were really strong. And looking more of their traditional roster that we expect to see. And that is one big difference here. Is this roster from Wisp, I don't think will change a whole lot going into actual contender season.
I don't think so.
With Solaris's roster, I mean, we'll probably see half of these players actually on their contenders roster.
Correct.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
I think Tense also has the ability to take a console player like Doom and transform him into a more well-rounded PC player. We've seen the progression of Doomed.
He's not starting on Wisp.
He's not starting.
He started most of the. He was starting most of the last round.
I mean, the game that Jeff and I cast, he did not start, but he did come in later in the tournament. So I don't know if it was just a scheduling thing or like that. But I think Doomed has just been my favorite, just because we know him.
That was another crystal ball moment from me. I'm just saying. I called that back in like 2017, man, like years ago, man. It was 2018.
I mean, if we're going to talk about your crystal ball abilities, I was going to bring this up while you were talking about Landon, but you actually called it that when Landon went to flex support, he was going to be the best in NA. I remember you saying that over a year ago, probably around March. I think it was right around when Contenders was coming back around, and he had finally made the full swap to that, and you said he was going to be one of the best. Ethan has the ability to look into the future for supports, especially. He's done. I think your take on Aspen as well. I think Aspen deserves a shot.
She has a chance. She's most
she has a
consistent main
chance.
support. She's got the consistency across all the main support heroes. I mean, maybe if you're being critical, you could say you'd like her to stay on, a team for 6-7 months and see what she can do, and you'd also maybe want her to excel at one of them in particular as well. Just go a little bit further forward. Give her a chance on a proper roster. She'll do well. She's so consistent across those here. I'm excited to see what she can do in Overwatch too, but not going to predict anything because that's very dependent, especially because look. There is going to be challenges being a female player in Overwatch. There is. It's just a fact.
Unfortunately, that's the world we live in right now. We're trying to change that, but we're not there yet.
We're trying to change. I'm just being obvious. Overwatch
I'm going to advocate for her, though. I'm going to keep taking my voice wherever I can. Wherever I fucking can, I'm going to use my voice to try and pump her up because she deserves a shot.
She does deserve a shot. What I'm saying is an Overwatch league team might be worried about bringing her into that sort of environment.
I mean, Gregory was a good initial foray for a woman to come in.
So
I think that you could replicate the. I mean, that was back in season 1. I mean, come on, it's time. It's time
for another female Overwatch League player, and she's probably the closest.
Yeah. Now, and I will say, I mean, just the part about bouncing around teams isn't the players' faults. Like that's
I know,
just
I'm not saying that's her fault. I'm
No.
saying
I,
if she gets a chance
Yeah.
to be on a team for 6-7 months and get a good head coach that's going to give her the direction to maybe network with some of these Overwatch League players, teams, etc., she'll be in Overwatch League no fucking doubt. Because she's talented enough. She's proved it in trials, contenders, even open division at one point, that she is one of the most consistent main sport players across every single one of the main sport heroes. Of course she should be there. But look, I mean, she also played really well this weekend. Her and Mozart on Dice, probably the standouts for that roster. And we can now move maybe down from the finals and talk about those two players' performance. And also we can talk about Team Peps. We could talk about GForce. GForce were excellent.
GForce.
And Redbirds. Those are, I think, the other teams to talk about.
Agreed. And GForce are playing without Strider, who was...
he did come back in.
He came back in later on in one of the days.
He came back in later.
Later. For most of it, they were playing without Strider. But yeah, that's right. I had forgot. He did show up kind of at the end of the last day.
Yeah. I mean, Tensa, if you happen to watch this, Slime Aspen, he instantly increased the value of your team, especially on the backline, self-sufficient player.
You still got Vega. I mean, like, that's one team.
But Aspen's better.
I think Vega's very good. I don't think that needs to be like a replacement. I think someone else, maybe looking to build a project, could build around her in that sort of a sense. In my personal opinion, I think like Vega's good enough. I don't think that's like an area like immediately needs replacement.
Yeah.
Well, if we're taking a look at our bracket here, and then kind of zooming in on GForce comes in 4th, but they're the only team to take 2 maps off of Solaris in the entire tournament. Now, granted, a lot of it... they also beat Team Peps. Like, I mean, and it's... You know, if you weren't too dead, Team Peps had a lot of former Overwatch League players. So you're looking at Ben Best and Alex. Alex playing for Falcons, who's the top team in EU, last contenders. And then you've got FD God in the support line. You've got Nico Godhands with Suna and Logix. All are Overwatch League, former pros. Like this was a stacked roster that a lot of us predicted to go a bit further in the tournament than they did. But it's just a testament to how good GForce really was.
GForce was really good. Remember, these were tier 3 players.
Yeah, these are tier 3 players. Yes.
Or were tier 3 players.
I think it's an important distinction. You're not wrong.
They're not tier 3 players anymore. They're tier 2 players. Maybe low end tier 2, but they're tier 2. They're tier.
And there were some that have competed. I mean, like they had competed at. I mean, Kuffa, comes out of Australian contenders. Lep we've seen around T2 a bit. Magic 8 Ball we've seen a little bit with Dark Mode, I believe. So, like, they have some players with some T2 experience, but they're definitely a T2. Yeah, they're definitely a T2 team now. I can't argue that.
Correct.
So we've had a GForce. Do you want to talk about Redbirds? Because Redbirds had a resurgence this weekend. Who wants to open the floor on that?
I'll take the Redbirds if you want to throw it up on the screen there. I mean, Redbirds, they lost almost their entire roster to Owl. And they went through a rebuilding period. And Iron leaving the team as well. That was another big loss for them as well. So, I mean, they have rebuilt and brought up from their academy team up to varsity. And they have absolutely been able to bring the level back up. So, I mean, Gig was fantastic on Wrecking Ball comps. I did not know that Gig had that good of a Wrecking Ball. I mean, looking at the other members of that team, I mean, it was just so good. They played the synergy was there. I think they developed the synergy as that academy team and then brought it to the varsity squad. And now, I mean, collegiate, it's not the ISU swarm that it is. So we'll see.
Still super strong.
Still super strong. And I'd love to see, how they compare going into this contender season, because they do have a spot. And I want to see how they compare now with more of a level playing field, as it were. Yeah,
this is really interesting to me. Look, they were excellent this weekend. It was really a concern. They've had some pretty okay results, so far with their new roster with Gig, Echo, etc. Right, Vision's been really impressive. But this weekend, they got to the winners. Yeah, they got to the winners finals this weekend. You at one point, if it was just a single elimination bracket, they'd been in the grand finals, right? But that's unfortunately not what the format was.
No, they did outstanding. They got third place, so like that's nothing to scoff at. And I thought did look really strong. Let's change this screen. As I was still on Ocean and large screen, and Ocean had stopped talking. So I was talking.
Hello.
It was me and you're not on large screen anymore. I fixed it. I am a S tier producer right here. All right, I'm on top of things. That's not true. But definitely proud of Redbirds. I mean, they were playing with a sub. Still trying. Rack was playing with somebody else. And so they had a sub fill in for this event, and looked pretty good. That was Moving Fish, and then the rest of the squad. I thought the backline looked really good. Rupal, aka Pascal, was more standout to me in this tournament than I had seen in OWCC in more recent events. So yeah, I mean, they made it once they made a name for themselves. Like they got the interest, they got the support from the university. Prior to picking up American Tornado and picking up Wheats. Which was like Flutie's top pick for a coach. Flutie brought in Wheats, and then Wheats brought in American Tornado. But after that, I think it really proved not just to their own university, not to the higher ups, the administration through that university, that their esports program is something that is worth investing in, but also kind of just proven to the world, following in the footsteps of what Maryville, Harrisburg, and Northwood had done before. ISU kind of took it to that next level, and they're going to remain they're not going anywhere. That work that they had done to pave the way to being a top tier school is not going anywhere, and they're still. We talk about it like it was like they somehow fell off after losing the AT squad to OWL, but it just became a little bit more competitive again. Where it wasn't so
rebuilding phase.
It's a rebuilding phase.
You lost your entire fucking roster. You got to rebuild. You got a lot of time to as well. It's not like we'll just pick 6 players and it'll be fucking great again. That's not how it works.
Yep. All right.
Well, I think we have spent enough time on that one. Any other final thoughts about Last Ride before we move on?
Oh no, I might cry if I go any further than what I said earlier, so probably not. It was an awesome event. Okay, look, it was heartwarming to see the community together for a brief moment. It was very awesome. Everyone was backing each other. You guys did those interviews, and they were so well received. I mean, even just talking to members of the community like a couple weeks before, or in that period, it was brilliant. The amount of feedback we got, we asked them for feedback on seeding, everything, right? And they were very responsive, very engaged. The most I've seen the NA community. In fairness, it was really nice. It was a heartwarming tournament. I want to do more on Overwatch 2. We'll have to wait and see. I need the financial backing to do it, but it was good. It was a good tournament.
Details. Oh yeah, it was a joy to be a part of. It was an absolute joy to be a part of. Now moving on.
No, I need to shout out 2 more people.
Yeah, do it.
Ink and Sinja did both days of the broadcast. Ink was on production, and Sinja's observing was brilliant. They were absolutely excellent. Go hire them. Brilliant people. Sorry, now you can continue.
No, that deserves its own lower third. Give a little shout out to those 2 because they did a phenomenal job. And it was a big reason why the production was as good as it was. And they did the whole thing. These 2 handled all of the behind-the-scenes stuff for the entire tournament.
On a plus 7 hour. 7 hours ahead.
Not to mention, right, so 15 minutes before the first day of the broadcast, I was on the openings, and I go to Ink, I'm like, just to be clear, you have the videos, right? He's like, what videos? I'm like, what?
No.
They weren't in the package. I'm like, okay.
Oh, no.
Ink, this is going to be a fucking speed job, all right? You need to get these. And he got them fucking ready in those 15 minutes and he used them perfectly. Wow. He was absolute madman, isn't he?
Adapting.
I'm glad I randomly asked. I'm like, we have those 4-minute breaks, for those videos and stuff. It was brilliant. But yeah, no, he's absolutely excellent. But that was a fun story behind the scenes. I was panicking when I heard that. He was like, what videos? I thought he was joking.
Ethan, you were panicking the entire week leading up to it. there was lots of hand holding for Ethan and letting him know that he was good and that he was doing a very good job. That he just did not want to listen to us at all.
There will be so. You maybe have to find one of those messages because I'm sure it was quite funny.
It was very funny, but we are very proud of you.
Indeed.
Never understand. Never not know that.
We never understand how much we are proud of you. Don't understand it. You fucking understand it. You're done for.
Fucking understand it.
Oh my god. All right. Speaking of shit, I don't fucking understand. Let's move on to our final news topic.
Let's go, Ethan. Let's go.
Let's move on to our final news topic.
This may as well be my fucking episode. Look, the thumbnail inspired this. You can see a naughty Billy in the thumbnail. Oh, that's kind of weird. I'm not going to say that again. Sorry, Billy. Look. Sorry. Let's move on. There has been an incident where a Tier 2 organisation, we're not going to name drop them, we have been informed who they are. An unnamed organisation in the Tier 2 Overwatch space has not been paying their designers, or at least not communicated why those payments are late. I don't know too much more in the situation. Look, what I am going to say is, look, I kind of sympathise in some senses. You know, some things go wrong, but you got to communicate. You know, if these payments are going to be late, there's no shame in saying, hey, you know, something's went wrong. This is going to be around this date. We're going to try our best to get it to you earlier. Look, we really apologise, and that is okay. Sometimes admit something went wrong, and I'm going to bring this back, and I'm going to talk about, you know, I've had this situation before. So we were in Korean contenders trials, and Leomix had qualified for contenders. Now that was OW2 Blast's academy team. We were the next best placing team, and OW2 Blast to give us a ring to go, Mr. Ocean. Yep. I'm like, this is me. I'm sorry, I'm talking to myself. This is OW2 Blast. This is me. I'm like, yep. You know, you're the next placing team. We'll give you this contender spot. I'm like, okay, yep, that sounds good. Thank you very much. So I'm going to ring our sponsors, and they're like, yep, we've got this contender spot. And Blizzard go, oh no, you've got to play Lunas. I'm like, all right, okay, we'll go and schedule that game for tomorrow instead. We go and schedule that game, and Blizzard's like, nope, next Tuesday. We've got to play next Tuesday. I'm like, why the fuck do we got to play the next Tuesday? I'm like, all right, so we played the next Tuesday. We finished that game, but before that, we already signed our player contracts. We signed as soon as we were given the spots. So we were playing players. I won't disclose the amount, but each player on the roster, 8 or 9 players, were getting an amount above 250 or so USD a month. That's what they were getting each. That was getting funded for the sponsors that at some point they went away because it's now perceived that we kind of lied about having contenders guaranteed, even though we were under the impression that we had already guaranteed it. So that's 4K that we had to cough up in those 3 months to make sure that we were those players were paying. I went in the negatives for that. I went above and beyond to pay that 4K. And you know what? If you can fucking get away with this and be a tier 2 contenders org and you can fucking get away with this shit, I may as well not pay them. May as well just got away with it, because apparently you can do this sort of stuff. Pay your fucking staff. If there's a mistake and it's late, that's fine. Just say, look, we're going to have to wait.
Take some
fucking accountability, take some responsibility, and own up to your mistakes. Because I made the mistake of signing those player contracts before the sponsorship contracts were done. That was my mistake. Yes, Blizzard had a hand in it and moving our game. And that was also stressful because then we had to get photo shoots done and get player photos done. That was an absolute problem. Yes, that Blizzard should take accountability for that, and they did. They actually eventually apologized. But look, take some accountability. You made that mistake. I went 4K, and that my org still hasn't recovered. Pay your fucking designers. That's really it. That's all I have to say. Well, and also, one last thing. I will say that the only thing I will reveal about this organization is they have bought contender spots before. And we've talked about other organizations who have bought contender spots and not been in a position where they can run a team properly and put a good structure there. Spot buying needs to fucking go, or there needs to be some sort of regulator who can regulate, okay, this person's ran these teams efficiently, give a good structure, they are allowed to own a spot. There needs to be some sort of regulator, or it needs to go.
I'm hopeful. I would love to do an episode on changes to the Tier 2 infrastructure, particularly in NA.
I mean,
but
I've been
that's
informed by what sort of format we're looking at this year. I'm not going to say anything more. Spot buying's still technically a thing.
I mean, it's tough to do the episode without knowing exactly what that's going to look like. It's tough to speculate on what we want to change, knowing that there are going to be some pretty drastic changes. I hadn't heard that the spot buying was still a thing, so that's a little unfortunate. It's a little concerning.
Well, we know that Susanoo bought Drifter spot, but what we will say in Susanoo's case, look, we saw the roster they were screwing with. I've already know already that Carlo has put down a structure, and we know that Susanoo are capable of running these teams. We know that.
Sure.
And Carlo has proved that he's going to be a good owner, and we've already seen it behind the scenes that they are going to be fine. They're going to be ran well. In these other cases, it's very, very obvious to look back at, in particular North America and Europe, the spot buying system has not worked. The only spot buying I remember happening in Korea recently was Team CC buying a spot in Korea. Which, I mean, they should just be given it anyway.
I mean, and they were very competitive there.
That's a completely different case.
Now, let's put some context to this. So, this all stems from a tweet from Riderus saying that there's a certain Tier 2 contenders org that is yet to pay my friends. Going on to say that, offered him his day rate, which is significantly higher than the people who ended up doing the work, and still haven't paid the people who ended up doing the design work. Either way, get your shit together. My friends are out thousands at this point. Riders goes on like a huge thread here, which please go. You should be following Riders on Twitter anyway. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Yeah, he's phenomenal. Can
I stop you a second? Riders does an amazing job. Like, his work is absolutely phenomenal. But one thing about Riders that makes his work 10 times more sweeter, his ethics are brilliant. He stands for brilliant morals. He supports his fellow content staff. I'm a big Riders fan. I engaged under this post with him. Brilliant. He's standing up for his creators here. He's helping out the lower scene. What an amazing individual. Keep going.
Basically goes on to say his friends are out thousands at this point. When he was offered, way more money to do the work. Again, get your shit together. Goes on to say, and this is the last part I'll highlight, but if you're in T2 as anything other than a passion project in any esport, you should maybe get your brain checked. So, that's
fair. Tier 2 isn't profitable, but what I will say is that there, for example, I can't say exactly what I was going to say yet. I will say it. I will say this. So I am looking to bring Incendia back into North America and Europe to compete. I'm just waiting for funding from outside sources, because if I fund, it's not going to be stable. But what I am looking to do with that funding is make sure that the players, I want to build a good structure and with good staff, and I want to make sure they know that that their role in that team is stable, because they're getting paid. They'll be potentially under a contract if they're comfortable with that. Yeah. And then, it'll be a stable position for that. And they know it will be a stable position. And that's what that funding will look to achieve. It will also look to achieve helping them with their networking goals. Maybe not social media, because I know a lot of players don't like that, but just in terms of helping them with their networking goals. Look, that's what I want to do. But what I will also say is that, having one of your projects funded is different to trying to make profit in Tier 2. Making profit in Tier 2 is impossible, like Riders was saying.
And this is, I think, still part of the rebuilding process from losing academy teams. In T2 going into a fully, I don't know, not player run, but fully community. Where they're not getting the funding from the big orgs. And so we've seen some growing pains with that over the past couple years. But you've got to stay accountable. You need to stay transparent, and you need to stay accountable. And those two things are really, really important for keeping not just the contenders T2 scene alive, but how that feeds into the entire ecosystem of Overwatch. These things are fundamental. And kind of circles back around to the importance of collegiate, because they have some of that accountability that is just inherently there with the collegiate system. But I agree. I mean, even if problems come up, you got to stay transparent. You got to stay communicative with everybody involved.
I'll be transparent. For the final month of our contenders payments to those players, I think payments were 20 days late for each individual. Payments for 20, and we told them, look, these are going to be late. You know exactly what happened with the Blizzard scenario.
That's part of the
20
communication.
days is what we're looking for.
Yeah,
And look, 20 days, and you know what? 20 days is quite long. Even if it's 2 months of being late and you're consistently communicating, this is how we're going to obtain that money, this is when you're scheduled to get it, that's fine with me. But it looks like there's no communication going on here whatsoever, and that's not okay.
From what we've seen. Yeah, from what we've seen.
From what we've seen. And from what
I will throw in there that from the Esports U server, something happened. They threw a big announcement out there saying that they are currently checking into some details behind the scenes, but that their payments might be delayed to the talent. Open line of communication. That's all it takes. It's one simple statement, 3 seconds out of your day, to be able to say to whoever you're paying, look, something came up. Here's what we're doing. We'll let you know. It doesn't take a lot.
This happens at big companies. Sometimes like there's a banking error and they're like, okay, we need to sort this banking error, then we can pay people.
Yeah.
Right. It happens everywhere. It is no shame to say, okay, something's went wrong. Let's fix it, and then we will, atone for that.
Yep.
Well, I think that's enough on that. I don't think there's anything really more that can be said on that one.
Nope.
I do have a bit of a bonus topic here before we get into our T2 tweet of the week. Yeah, it's pretty obvious. Fucking beta dropped. We've got the Overwatch 2 beta. Like, I know it's not Path to Pro specific, so I don't want to linger on it, but I want some just off the cuff impressions. What are our thoughts? What's our just quick impressions from the Overwatch 2 beta? Go.
Circuit Royale is a fantastic map.
Circuit Royale is fucking Let's go. High five, Billy. Circuit Royale is so good. Yeah.
There's so many sight lines. There's so many different ways to get to where you need to go and stop. And also, my beloved donkey horse. Let's fucking go. She's back. Holy shit.
Oh, Riders.
I love Arisa.
Riders just showed up in chat. I don't know if you saw our previous topic, but you inspired it. Jay, you hush. You shut your mouth, Jay. I know everything's backwards in Australia.
To play, Jay.
I want to actually talk about,
I will play tank.
I was really, really nervous about this because I was not for the 5v5, but it plays well. We had the 1.5 million Overwatch viewers on Twitch at one point.
Holy shit!
That was so awesome.
Wait! What was it? What was it, Ethan and Jeff? Oh, dead game.
Yes.
Actually, I want to talk about my two favorite things from the Overwatch 2 beta.
Okay.
Diva's elimination final blow voice lines. One of them is "Fact checked, you're dead." I love it. It's so funny. And also, I think Winston Overwatch is quite good. I like Winston Overwatch. All right.
I like Winston Overwatch. There's a lot of really good voice lines, honestly. That there was. I don't know. I think it was Junkrat said something like "Howdy, cow person" when he kills Cassidy. And that
Leva's another one that says "cringe" or something as well.
Right. There's a lot of good voice lines coming. There's a lot of that little stuff that's. It makes it feel really fresh, but holy cow, the gameplay is very tight. I was terrible at it. I'm terrible on MNK. It feels like I'm just playing with two left thumbs, and I still had a blast. Like
there was one problem. I think some of the maps aren't linear enough. I think they're like it can feel a bit empty. One because we're used to handling two more characters in, but also I think some of the maps are a little too big. Like I think the new Queen Street is a bit too open. I would like that to be a little bit more linear, a little bit more enclosed, and feel a little bit more natural.
I think part of that's just feeling out the maps, though. I think part of that, I mean, like, you will naturally learn, like, the subway car on the high ground is where the battle's going to take place. Like, there's all this stuff going around it, but that's the most important aspect of that point A. And so where once we kind of learn the maps, and it's not as obvious, this is where your choke is, but we will have those central fighting zones.
I think it'll be better.
And it'll become a little bit more
gameplay.
Yeah, more focused.
I do think that some of the maps need a little bit more enclosing down. That's the only critique I really have.
I want to throw this question to you guys. Have you guys tried to, as you are playing the game, trying to figure out where the major engagement zones are going to be and what could be going on in those moments? Because I feel like I'm getting like an extra special look behind the scenes as
I
how
really
we're going
like
to cast this game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I really
I've been
like the
studying it
defensive
more than trying to
setups
play it.
on
Yeah.
Midtown defensive setups are really interesting to me. I've been studying that last night for like 3 hours.
It's
Midtown
a fresh
defensive
start
setups
for us
is
too
what I
as
was looking at.
casters.
Yeah.
There's some really cool spots you can abuse on Midtown defense. I
Midtown
saw a
is a
really
beautiful
cool
map.
honor spot from Paul's on Twitter. Like, yeah,
I still think
I'm
Circuit
kind of.
Royale. I'm gonna have the most
Circuit
fun with
Royale's
Circuit
better.
Royale.
I think Circuit Royale is the best
top
new
right
map. It was my favorite of the new maps that I've
I'm
played.
with you.
Yeah.
Correct.
But I also really enjoyed studying Midtown defense. So that was something I enjoyed.
We're gonna have to go into a VOD review, all three of us, and just start breaking down.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to start analyzing the stuff. And another thing, okay, so this beta is not gonna last super long, right? It's only like mid-May or something like that.
May 17th.
This version of the beta.
May 17th.
May 17th.
And I remember I actually have gone back and hunted to try to find it. But I remember reading that the contender season was going to start after the first iteration of the beta. So
I was talking with an individual.
Pure speculation.
There's no date set. However, it kind of seemed most likely, like from just talking about things, that second week of June.
That's what I'm saying. Like June, like we could be seeing contenders as early as June.
My guess.
That's what I'm saying. If pure speculation, I haven't really talked to anybody about it. This is just from the tidbits that I've picked up.
Is my guess.
But honestly, I think that was sooner than any of us were expecting to get some proper contenders.
Yeah,
so
I
if
wasn't expecting until August.
Yeah, if we can, or even September, that's kind of what I was thinking. So if we could actually get some proper contenders going in over the summer, we're gonna be some happy podcasters. Yes.
We're also gonna have to hire some content people.
Yeah, I'm just gonna clone myself. We have plans.
You're gonna edit 4 videos a week at least.
We got big plans. We want to do so much with this Map5 brand, and continue to highlight all these past deploy players because, well, that's what we love to do, and we learn and grow from it as well. So it's something we're very much looking forward to. So keep your eyes out for that. But I think that does it for the bulk of the show. Unless y'all have any final thoughts before we get into our T2 tweet of the week.
Nope,
I apologize for talking so much, man. Look, this is just another episode where I only was forced to talk. We had last ride and we had some org structure things to talk about. I'm sorry.
No, that's
I'm not to go Overwatch.
I'm glad you're here, Ocean. I am so glad you're here.
Look, some episodes it'll be like more positive stuff, and I'll be like fucking silent. But when we have to get down into the nitty gritty, I'm sorry, I'm here. We're gonna talk about some important things.
Hey, sometimes you gotta. We're not afraid to tackle some hard hitting subjects, and sometimes that's just what you gotta do. But let's move into a less hard hitting subject. It was kind of hard hitting if you were UTD. Because they were just getting rolled in Mario Party. This is your T2 Tweet of the Week, Louis. For the second time, we're featuring Louis for our T2 Tweet of the Week. Found Bay State in their trip to Boston. And, well, it looks like this rivalry has already started. The rematch already taking place. Go ahead.
I do want to say one thing. They're playing Mario. I think they're playing Mario Party 6. That's some good taste. It's a good Mario Party game. Just saying.
Wow.
There you go.
They know exactly what they're doing. They are cultured gamers. They know.
Never mind the Overwatch LAN. This is the hype right here. UTD Bay State and Mario Party.
Battered. UTD are getting battered.
Everybody. that is going to be our episode this week. Thank you so much for coming out here. Thank you to you boys.
Before we go. I know.
What have you got?
Phil, I tried.
You tried. I know. But this one's for Bahar out there, just for all of your hard work in helping us with the editing and everything. I'll give you this one. So here we go. We're witnessing another glorious failure in execution as Bahar fails to put on his fitted cheats yet again. That one's for you, my friend. All right, take us out, Billy.
I don't know if I can now.
We could just stay live.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us here on Map5. This is episode number 9. I'm Billy, Jeff, and Ethan joining you as always. Thanks to Glitch City for their their King's Row remix, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. We'll see you then. Bye, everybody. Love you.